Sure. So Steadman Graham is master mentor number 18, a very successful former professional sports player around Europe. He is a very accomplished entrepreneur, author, one of the greatest investors in urban youth leadership in America. And for those who may not know him for his investment in urban youth leadership, he is the life partner of Oprah Winfrey. They've been together for 30 years. Although I don't think they are, formally married. They are just that for 3 decades. And so Steadman writes a lot about your identity. Let me stop there for a moment. That is kind of his expertise.
Right.
Can you imagine what it would be like to be the life partner for 3 decades of arguably the most famous human being in the world? Certainly one of the wealthiest and most influential and famous and publicly recognized. She's in that one name club, right? Pink and Cher and Madonna and Oprah and Raphael and things like that. So imagine what it would be like to create an identity for yourself outside that relationship. But this is one of the most humble, practical, kind, gentle, pragmatic people I've ever met. Steadman and I've been friends for 20 years. He came on the podcast and he taught me something that I thought was profound for me, Wanda. It was this idea about choosing your identity. The operative word there is choosing, because what Steadman reminds us of is that most of us are simply living our lives fulfilling the identity that others placed on us. Most of us was our parents or caregivers or guardians, or perhaps it was your rabbi or imam or your priest or your first grade teacher or your scout leader. For me, it was definitely my parents. My parents are fortunately still alive. They live in the same home I was raised in Orlando, Florida, and have been married for 60 years. And my brother, who is my older sibling, just he and I, he is a chemical engineer. He has a master's in engineering from MIT. He is a black belt Six Sigma. My father was very much similar. So when I was born and raised, they thought I was like the wild child, right? On political campaigns, and I was a realtor and a project manager, and I was a salesperson, and then a marketing person and a podcast host. They're like, how do you even earn money? I think they think I'm probably bankrupt because they can't compute that. The fact of the matter is my brother is 10 times better educated than I am. And I'll bet you my W-2 is 10 times what his was last year. Not exactly Mike, sorry, but I did okay. My point is, I think it was Steadman that gave me permission to kind of stop craving my parents' approval on everything and move out of their paradigm of what success looked like, out of their paradigm about what they valued. My parents value consistency, safety, security, because they were raised with families that had none of that. I'm much more entrepreneurial. I love risk. And I've moved to London and Chicago and Utah where I knew nobody, right? I'm a calibrated risk taker. And so it was after meeting Steadman that I realized at the age of 40 something late that I was going to choose my own identity and respect my parents, but I was going to fulfill my own identity. Who did I want to be in the future? What was important to me? And I think a lot of people listening probably think, well, this is, again, a no-brainer, but how many of us have really deliberately chosen the identity that we want to fulfill for ourselves?